Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, August 16, 2017. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Minister of Transport and Works Julian Francis is encouraging persons here to apply to lease the 10 buses that government has procured for school children across the country. Minister Francis, who was speaking on Star FM last evening, said that 30-seater buses will be in operation for the new school year and is in an effort to ensure that students are not neglected on the roads. Minister Francis said that there was a concern that students will be left for last by minibus operators because they do not pay full price.
These are spelled out in the notice that we put in the papers, and you will indicate which one you have an interest in. The government has worked out what it considers to be a reasonable lease monthly payment on the leases. Those will be discussed with you individually as you are selected, and you will have a choice to accept or to make counter proposals, and we will look at them. But that is the approach that we are taking on it. So those of you who have interest, go to the Searchlight newspaper on page 14 and you will find it there, and submit your expressions of interest to reach the Permanent Secretary before next week, Monday, 21st. Remember, school is 2 weeks from then, will be reopening, so that by 21st the afternoon, you must submit your expressions of interest, and then we will go through a selection process. The idea behind this basically is to assist. We know that in this country that the school children sometimes are placed second to other passengers. And most of the time it's because they pay half fare.
The Transport and Works Minister also noted that no more 18-seater buses will receive concession from government as school buses for students.
They're abused. They are driven wildly. This is why we are not offering any concessions for school buses on any 18-seater van anymore. The 18-seater vans that carries people, school children, are like race cars. I have driven those vehicles. They are fast. They are tempting. So the government has insisted now that, listen, this is why we are investing in 29-seaters, 26, 29-seaters. These 18-seaters are not going to get any duty concessions to be used as school buses. You want to buy school bus 18-seaters to carry passengers, you invest your own money, no duty-free concession on them. Once you invest and you want to buy the bigger buses, 29-seaters, 30-seaters, the government will give you 75% duty off of it, providing it's within a certain age group. Those details are available.
Students who will be studying in the Republic of China on Taiwan will now be able to work in that Asian country. Ambassador Bo Shenzhou made the announcement on Monday as he handed over scholarships to 17 students who will be pursuing degrees in different areas, including computer science, nursing, medicine, among others. Ambassador Zhao noted that Vincentian students have maintained excellent standards while studying in Taiwan and encouraged the new batch of students to learn as much as they can from the experience.
Over the years, Vincentian students have maintained an excellent reputation on academic performances. I sincerely hope that all of you will come back with your degree. And this year, go back and check with your passport, the visa we issue to you. There's an annotation, and you can find that actually now you are allowed to apply to work in Taiwan starting from this year. And for the new scheme, it aims to encourage the eligible foreign students to gain more hands-on experience and sharpen their Mandarin language skills. I hope many of you will utilize this new scheme. That is to say, when you come back to St. Vincent Grenadines, you will bring back with you not only your degree, but also working experiences and your beautiful Mandarin you speak.
The top Taiwanese diplomat in the country also noted that his government will be donating an additional 1 million EC dollars for youth development here.
In addition to the scholarships, my government has pledged to provide a further 1.30 million EC dollars for youth development projects. We have long sponsored the YES program. Over the years, we know that this is very popular, and thousands of people have benefited from this program. We do hope that the new funding, will further enhance the YES program by increasing the recipients to the program or to other similar projects.
Minister of Education Sinclair Jimmy Prince had high praises for the government of Taiwan, which has educated some 126 Vincentian students since 2004. He also noted that this was part of the government's Education Revolution initiative.
Today's ceremony is an important fillip in this particular revolution, and we should be happy and grateful to the Taiwanese for their generosity. Once upon a time, when I was in a different capacity, doing public relations for the government, we were very hard pressed to convince people that the Taiwan scholarship is a very good scholarship. We had to work over time to devise instruments to promote the Taiwanese scholarship. Today, the Taiwanese government is increasing the number of scholarships because of the demand. That again tells you about the quality of the scholarship and the importance that people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines place on education for their advancement.
Medical students here have been encouraged to embrace their future as well as to seriously consider filling areas of need in their community. The encouragement was given at the 15th White Court ceremony hosted by the All Saints University on Saturday. Minister of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Luke Brown, stated that doctors, nurses and other health professionals are critical in allowing persons a chance to achieve the highest possible level of health as well as the ideals of universal health access and coverage. He encouraged the medical students to seriously consider using their skills to fill areas of need in the community.
And to pursue the ideals of universal access to health and universal health coverage. And I want you to dedicate yourselves not just to the completion of your degree and not just to being able to go on from there and set up and maintain viable practices. Some of you might get involved within the public system and deliver services through there, but to keep your eyes firmly fixed on satisfying a need, filling a need in whatever that area might be. And of course, after your initial training, you'd have the opportunity to specialize, and some of you might be thinking about where you might specialize even at this moment. And we want those thoughts to be guided by what the ultimate needs of perhaps St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because I assume that there's some Vincentians among the recipients here. There's one Vincentian, I understand. So what the need might be in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, what the need might be in your homeland.
Also speaking at the ceremony was Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Deborah Charles, who congratulated the institution on its 15th White Court ceremony and encouraged the students to embrace their future, adding that many lives will be in their hands.
That character is measured in how we treat others, how we treat our fellow men. I want you to be courteous and respectful to those with whom you come into contact. Be compassionate to the patients who would depend on you for care. And I believe you would have heard that before from Dr. Wizam and from from the Honorable Cecile Mackey. Embrace your future with courage and pride. As you go, remember, the world is in your hand. Lives are going to be in your hands. people are going to be depending on you to make a difference. Make that difference, because your difference will count.
Speaking on behalf of her class was Uni Meyer, who thanked those who have sacrificed to allow them to achieve this milestone. Meyer added that success comes through hard work and dedication.
Failure is extremely difficult to handle. We feel miserable, shameful, and sometimes even feel like quitting. And trust me, I've been in these situations many times. But I believe with strong determination and willpower, we can pull ourselves up. We must come out of these situations like a child who learns to walk. He falls, but he gets up and tries again and again until he succeeds. Sachin Tendulkar, the famous Indian cricketer, said once in a speech, "Choose your dreams, but make sure you don't find shortcuts." Yes, no shortcuts. We must fulfill our dreams through dedication, passion, and hard work. To become compassionate, competent, and caring physicians, we must become humble, sincere, and loving human beings, and most importantly, give it our best effort. Once again, on behalf of my entire class, I would like to thank our family members and faculty of All Saints University, and a special congratulations to all my classmates. Thank you.
In other news, local historian Dr. Adrian Fraser is calling for focus and determination on what he said must be done to ensure the development of critical sectors of this country, as he is of the opinion that SVG cannot depend on reparation. His comments came on Magic FM's Sunday Brunch radio program, on which the discussion was focused on whether SVG, with its limited resources, can realistically create the environment and infrastructure to develop the critical areas of healthcare, education, technology, and infrastructural modernization, or should those responsible for the institution of slavery provide financial assistance to speed advances in those areas. Noting that this country has the capacity to help develop some of these critical areas, Dr. Fraser said that one, however, cannot afford to simply wait for reparation to occur.
We have a situation here where I think for the Caribbean we spend $48 billion a year importing food. The sea, we are not maximizing the use of the sea. In terms of human capital, we are doing a very bad job. People with the skills and the capacity to help to develop the country are sidelined for all sorts of different reasons. So I want to say that we have within us the capacity to do this. It would be good if something like reparations come to help to speed this up, but we cannot sit back and depend on reparations. So my focus is on, can SVG, with its limited resources, realistically create the critical areas of healthcare, education, technological, and infrastructural modernization. Healthcare and education, I mean, you know, the answer is we have the capacity to do that. And to say that, okay, should we depend on reparation, I think at this stage is out of the question. If it comes, then it could boost whatever we are doing, but we need to focus on what we are able to do and what we should have been doing.
Another panelist, lawyer Kay Bacchus-Batiste, identified some issues she believes will hamper the nation in the event that SVG seeks reparation.
I see problems arising or issues to be discussed if we have to seek reparation. Issue one, I looked at the evidence. How can we produce cogent evidence? Issue two is the precedence. Issue three, would it open a floodgate, multiplicity of cases? Issue four, we might have to deal with, it's a question of leashes or limitation. Issue five, do we really have a cause of action, and what would that cause of action be? Issue 6, the quantum or measure of damages. How would we assess that? Issue 4, the enforcement or collection of any damages we may get. And finally, I looked at the issue of cost, in how costly it would be to prosecute such a claim.
Trade unionist Schools Van said it is important for St. Vincent and the Grenadines to move on with what little resources are available.
A lot of the issues, notwithstanding the history, are of our own making And we need to move on. I don't know how long the reparation thing is going to take. It would take another 100 generations maybe. And I guess the next generation and future generation might be discussing that. But at the same time, I think we have to move on. Basically, this is my approach. We have to move on with what we have while we deal with the historical and other issues. And from my research, I would like to start with not so much emancipation. I would like to start with where the colonials left us. And I look into some of those issues and where we went from there.
Venezuela will solve its own problems with genuine help and not through force. That's according to the Venezuelan ambassador to SVG, Yuri Pimentel, as he spoke on WeFM's Issues at Hand program on Sunday, discussing the state of affairs in the Spanish-speaking country. Ambassador Pimentel said the Venezuelan people are looking forward to peace and stability, which can come through genuine assistance and not by force and sanctions.
Finally, what the Venezuelan people is peace, is dialogue, is the possibility of moving ahead with our own solutions, and the problems we may have, we have to solve it on our own and with the help of our friends. With help, not with threat and not with sanctions. You know, we need. President Maduro always said we accept any offer that CARICOM makes to participate on dialogue, or some other countries, we accept it because we know they are doing it in a goodwill, not trying to interfere or to overthrow the government, that in a goodwill. And that's what we want, peace. And that's what the majority of the Venezuelan people wants, peace, dialogue, and progress.
Also speaking on the program was lawyer Jomo Thomas, who visited Venezuela recently as an observer. Thomas said the revolutionaries of Venezuela have no record of being cheats and accused the Venezuelan opposition of being hypocritical in the quest for democracy.
The Electoral Commission said they lost. They accepted the loss. They did another referendum. The Electoral Commission said they won, and they proceeded. They did the election in 2013. They won. The Electoral Commission said they won, and that was accepted. Not by the opposition, but they did a parliamentary election in 2015. They lost overwhelmingly, and they accepted that they lost. So they have no record as cheats. Compare that with the opposition. Every time, well, in the first place, they had a democratic election to elect President Chavez by 2002. In connivance with the United States, they tried to overthrow him. So they don't have no record of democracy. In fact, they were the ones who called for and said, after they won in 2015, said they would invoke sections 347, 348, and 349 to the Constituent Assembly. And then when the government called their bluff and said, all right, we would invoke it, then they said it was undemocratic.
The first batch of the delegation representing this country at CARIFESTA 13, the Caribbean Festival of Arts, left the state earlier today to make preparations for the 10-day festival in Barbados, which begins on August 17. The remaining members will travel tomorrow morning. This country is represented by a 39-member delegation consisting of members from the Center for Enterprise Development, CED, performers, craftsmen, and women and fashion designers. On Tuesday, head of the delegation Ashford Wood briefed members on what to expect. He said he was confident this country will be well represented as there are a lot of talented and capable people on the team. SVG's first performance will be a dance on Saturday, August 19th at the Christchurch Foundation School. This is followed by dance again on Sunday, August 20th at the Frank Collymore Hall. On August 21st, SVG will have its country night, which is an opportunity to display Vincentian culture at the Grand Market at Lassie. Music will be at the front on August 22nd. Local musicians will perform in the Village Green on that day as well. There will be musical performances at the Queen's Park Steel Shed. The dance and theatre will be showcased from August 23rd to the 25th, and the final performance for this country will be on August 26th at Pricetown. The theme for Carifest 13 is a certain our culture, celebrating ourselves. Carifest showcases art, music, food, folklore, theatre and dance from CARICOM and CARIFORUM countries of the Caribbean and Latin America. It is held every 2 years. Carifest was last held in 2015 in Haiti. The significance of summer programs and the impact they have on the lives of children were critically examined on the Views and Issues radio program on Sunday. One of the programs discussed was the STEM program, the acronym for Science, Technology, Engineer and Maths. STEM's director, Petrus Gums, took the opportunity to give an insight about the 5-week summer program, noting that it was designed to not only challenge the participants, but also the teachers.
This program literally tests all the teachers on every aspect that they know, and it takes the teachers outside of their comfort zone in terms of what they're accustomed to use in the schools, because the program is heavily ICT'd. And this year we had a few new things coming in. So we had, for instance, young kids where like age 14, 15, we want to expose them to foreign language. So we had the Mandarin coming from the Republic of China. They actually volunteered to come in and talk and assist the kid in an introductory level of Mandarin, because they're trying to get a language out there. We also put in Spanish for the primary schools as well, so that students who have not had any experience with Spanish, that they learn a little bit about the Spanish. One of our milestones that we're hoping to accomplish this coming Thursday is what we call an etiquette luncheon. So this time around, I don't know if you're noticing, I guess you will, all the panelists see it, I noticed that the drop pants reach in church, like the young guys are wearing the pants below their waist and they're coming to church like that. And back in the day, that was a big no-no. Most of our kids don't have a lot going for them in terms of a positive role. Most of the information that they get is what they see on TV, which is a dominant part of their life, and on the block, which also is a big part. So to ask a child who do not have that good family background or that good molding to come dressed properly at a job that he doesn't know, you can't expect anything out of it. So we are trying to do our part.
Noting the significance of the summer program and the importance of ICT in this modern age, Gums said as facilitators and teachers, their duty is to provide proper guidance to all of the participants.
I see my role as encouraging students or young ones to get into the IT field, believe it or not.
Demystifying
yes.
IT. That's what you all need to do.
Yes, in the next couple of years, well, it already has, IT is a big deal. Okay? And a lot of kids are shying away from the fact that of IT because they hate programming and they hate maths.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, maths is so difficult, programming, I have to learn all these codes. But that is not the case. Part of our work is demystifying and showing kids, look, you have everything that you need to do what you want. You want to know how to, I don't want to say, just say a program and say cook pilau, there's a recipe there. And I'm sure there's a YouTube there as well that could give you the steps to go through. So really and truly, sometimes we might say we need the teacher, and the teacher is very important. But teacher should just be as a guide, not so much spoon feeding, this is what you need to do next, this is what you need. And some of these young students that we have in here that's doing the programming area, by the time they get their first character to jump over a block, that's it for me.
The facilitator said while emphasis is being placed on ICT subject areas, other extracurricular activities are being incorporated in the program in an effort to further stimulate the development of the participants.
The primary program, which is from like 7 to 10, 11, because they kind of vary in that gap there, they spend the entire day with us and they go through the whole routine. We do the maths, we do the English, we do technology, we do the art, but we want to make a twist to the art. We do have the, the painting and the drawing and so forth, but we have so much to offer in St. Vincent that it ain't funny. So I didn't really want to just keep the art just to the painting and the drawing. So we brought in the Garifuna, Mr. Sutherland, who teach them how to make a little bow and arrow, how to make a little hut from little, recycled material. We work with Miss Jelliso, and she brought in the basket weaving, the table mat making, and so forth and things like that. So we also have them doing, they have to choose a sport. We didn't really want the common sports such as the football and so forth. We want them to expose different things. So we try to get them into the non-popular sports. So we have like the squash, the swimming, because believe you, there are some students, this is the only time they get to be part of something where professional coaches, especially in the swimming, is getting them involved.
The STEM program facilitates over 100 participants yearly. The SVG Police Force, along with the SVG Coast Guard, have not only been involved in protecting and serving the general public, but also have been extending a helping hand to individuals in need. Speaking with SVG-TV News earlier was Corporal Angela Costello Byron of the RSVG Police Force, who stated that a recent initiative taken to assist Gideon James, an elderly resident of Calico, forms part of the 20-year celebration of the members of Coast 17 who were enlisted on August 15, 1997 and remain in the organization.
For this course, we decided that we wanted to do something for somebody in the community, and thus we would have inquired from the nurses at the Calico Clinic, and they would have recommended to us Mr. Gideon James, who would have needed assistance that we were looking at. And we decided that we were going today to do some painting on his house and do some cleaning in his yard while we are here today. And today we are here, myself, Corporal Byron, P.O. Charles, Sergeant Rogers. We also have P.O. Durant, and also Glasgow, who is here with us today as part of the cleaning up, and also Scarborough. So we are really happy and we are proud that even though we are doing service to St. Vincent and the Grenadines on a whole, we can also do a specific service to someone today like Mr. Gideon James.
Meanwhile, James expressed gratitude for the work done by the RSVG Police Force.
I'm glad to see the Coast Guard told me last week they were coming to clean up, give me a little clean up. So I am glad for that, please. I thank them, Mr. Corporal Byron and your others. Please, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please. At least I'm glad of the house to get paint and the trimming up of the yard, because I can't make it in my back, fixing up myself and everything. So I thank you all very, very much for coming and fix me up, please. Thank you.